You did a video which is quite interesting. I would like to delve into it. And it's Orwell's rule that you should never use a long word when a short word would do. Is that something that you've applied into your personal writing?
Yes, definitely. It's interesting you bring that up because that's one of my most popular writing lessons I've put out there, and um, I think it speaks to this idea which I mentioned earlier: is that people don't want to be condescended to. People want to be engaged with on a level of equality, and if you're using a six-syllable word when there could be a two-syllable word, people think, well, the reason you've done that is because you want to sound clever. And why do you want to sound clever? Is there power involved? Is this a power thing? Um, so there's an element of that. There's also this idea of um, exactitude, which is something who's Italo Calvino talks about, who's another one of my favorite writers. And he says, as a writer, you need to always be searching for um, the most exact term, the most efficient term, um, and that's what makes your writing better. It makes it more readable, and it makes it more filled with this vital sort of essence. You need to figure out what's going to happen next. It propels you onwards. Um, so yeah, never use a long word when a short word will do. I think it speaks to this idea of are you being as exact, as efficient as possible? I once went to a writing workshop with actually a very famous writer who I won't name, but he said that you should only do one draft of your book because it's that immediacy which will propel the reader through the story. Um, and I was thinking, you should read my first drafts. Make mistakes, you get lost on tangents, and it may be a great experience for you at the time as a writer, but I think it doesn't take into account that you're telling a story to someone. And I think the best writers, an example is Kazuo Ishiguro, who's probably one of my favorite writers of all time, are so readable. Um, and they flit in and out of moments, in and out of scenes, conversations. A lot of the time, they're monologues, and it feels just like he's speaking to you. Um, and if you hadn't sort of delved into the craft of writing, you would think that he's just sort of written it and gone, there you go. But it takes an immense amount of work for writing to be so readable like that. Um, yeah, does that make sense?